Hello everyone, I'm Noemi Esparza Isaacson. I'm a visual artist, recording artist, and ceramicist, and I'm very happy to be here today. We're making a perzine. Zines are miniature magazines that are made with single sheets of paper. We have this little zine here today, and it has 8 pages, and it's all Sonoran Desert cacti. So let's go through the supplies, shall we? You will need 1 sheet of paper, scissors, watercolors, what I call mama bear brush and a baby bear brush. So something that has kind of a thin taper tip. We want to use these to line and also to fill in the watercolor. We will need some water, paper towel, and perhaps a pencil for sketching. This zine, when you open it up, is actually a sheet of paper. Close it, then it becomes a little magazine. So I'm going to walk you through how to create the zine. The very first thing we do is we fold our piece of paper in half. And now we're going to fold it in half the long way. And make sure that your ends are even. So now you have this half sheet and then fold it in half this way. The next step is to take that half sheet that's folded the long way, and you're going to fold these sides into the center. Okay, so I folded that sheet in, and then also the other side. So you end up with a piece of paper that has 8 sections. And now comes the interesting part. Go ahead and fold your paper in half this way. And we're going to cut right here. Okay, just the first rectangle. So you have a half piece of paper that's folded and it has a hole. Now you're going to fold that back the long way and coax that center piece of paper to open up. So you end up kind of with intersected lines. And then you want to fold the zine, and it has 8 pages. For this particular design, I'm going to just do a quick sketch. It almost looks like a tall, skinny light bulb. And we want to leave enough room for the arms. The arms go out and then they're kind of bigger, okay? And then I have one here as well. We're going to pick up some light green. And all we're doing is we're outlining the saguaro. And this is a very light green. We're going to fill in this part and we're going to leave some spaces, and those kind of represent the pleats around the cactus. Take a darker green, and just on one side we're going to tap, 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 because we want to fill in that green. We're filling in on the top. Now we're going to take some more of that green, and we're going to outline here and outline the whole saguaro cactus. So now we'll take more of that green, and now we're going to work on these arms. We need a lot of that lighter green for the arm. And again, we'll dip into the darker green, and we're just going to visit each arm and outline it with the darker green. And now I'm just going to start to make some of those pleats. Just take some of the darker green and just make those lines. Now I'm switching to my skinnier brush, and I'm going to that dark blue, and it's really going to make our saguaro pop. Make sure that our darker areas are always on the same side, because let's say the sun's coming from the left. So the same here. I want to add that blue, and that should do the trick for this first saguaro. I know you must be thinking, well, but this saguaro, isn't it supposed to be just green? Greens usually have this little bit of a bluish cast because blue and yellow make green, so they're still kind of related. So that's why when we use the darker blue, it looks a little bit better. So I'm going to try and go back in here and kind of clean this up a little bit. Hopefully you're having fun and you are painting your saguaro. So now I'm going to take some of this fuchsia. I think you can see that, like a magenta. And I'm going to dip my brush in the water after that, just very little, because if we dip our brush in the water after picking up some watercolor, then it just flows a little bit better. So I'm filling in the background of the saguaro and getting some more of this magenta, letting it flow, and just filling in those areas. Okay, so he's looking pretty good, he or she. Looking pretty good. And now we have page 1 of our saguaro zine. For the remainder of the video, you're just going to see really fast painting. But you're going to want to pause whenever you want to be able to catch up. For this one, we're going to need a pot. So I'm adding a pot here to the bottom. Then take a darker brown and fill those sections in on the side. And you'll want to carefully make the first cactus fill in, and then a single one here. And this one has kind of an open area there. And then we'll go back to our green, and like last time, we're staying on one side of the cactus. So when I see this happening, like there's a lot of green like that, a lot of water, I just kind of tap up. And so I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of an outline here, but not too much. I'm going to go back with my brush after I dried it off to blend this in a little bit. Pick up some fuchsia, and we're adding some flowers. And then I'll go back and get a little bit more of that fuchsia, make some dots. And that's really all you need. I added some blue to these outside areas. This next one is a lot of fun. It's a larger saguaro. So I outline the stem. Take some more of that green, and I'm just filling in. Take more of the green. This time there's going to be 2 arms on this side. One on the bottom, one here, and then I'm going to do one that kind of sticks out above. I'm going to take that green again and just fill in the arms. Very free, no worry. And then we're taking some more of that green. And watch how I do this. I'm just like tap, 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 tap. I'm being kind of just free with it, not really thinking too much about it. Same thing here. Tap, 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 tap. And last but not least, the saguaro here. Now we can go back and kind of tidy it up a little bit if we want to. Well, now we want to pick up some more of that green, and we're going to make the pleats. We're going to pick up some of that light green, come back to the other side and kind of revisit the other side. And this time I'm going to go with the blue to add the lines, okay? The blue looks really good when you do it like that. Now I'm going to add flowers to all of them. And then I go back, pick up some more of that magenta and just tap, tap, tap. And there you are, our second saguaro. Now we're going to make another saguaro and a potted barrel cactus. So go ahead and sketch out the way you had sketched before. This time, go ahead and pick up that light green and outline your saguaro the way we did before. Make sure you leave those white areas so it looks like the pleats of the saguaro. And go ahead and paint the arms. Also leave an area if you can. And now I'm gonna try some purple because I think that works really well with some of these saguaros, especially when you want them to look like it's nighttime. So I'm adding purple to the right side and just kind of working it in. It can tend to want to get muddy, so you really want to be careful with that purple. But then I go back with this green and kind of fix that a little bit. I'm getting some of this purple to make some more of those pleats. And I'm going to let you take some time to paint the background of these cacti on your own, just in the interest of time. So you'll do that on your own when we're done with the lesson. All right, so I'm revisiting now with the darker green. And as you can see, there are several colors in here now. Just adding some of that color. And I think I'm happy with this particular one. Okay, we've got a barrel cactus now. This one's so simple. So simple. First, we're going to make a pot, the flower pot. And I've kind of just decided to just take it. I'm just going to make a pot without any. And then what you want to do is you want to get the darker brown and you want to come back and add those sections which, you know, kind of show some wear or maybe like mossy areas or something. Okay, and don't fuss over it too much, just kind of leave it make that round barrel cactus, and we're just going to color it in. Okay, and I like to, sometimes I'll grab some of this green, and for the barrels I'll just do that type of treatment. So it'll help me define it later. So now we're going to take some blue and define that outer edge, and then we want to add our pleats. If you can make them really fine lines, that's even better. Go up and down, 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 and then go back and just dot, dot, dot. Give it some dimension. And there you go. That's your barrel cactus. And for the remainder of the video, you're just going to see really fast painting. But you're going to want to pause whenever you want to be able to catch up. This is very light and has minimal pigment. I'm making this kind of a half circle. That's the bottom prickly pear. And as we go up, we really don't want a lot of the watercolor. You see how light that is? Very light. And I'm just going up, continue adding. I have some here that are also coming off of that cactus. We're going back to each section of the prickly pear and we're going tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. And we're kind of filling in half. And now you're going to rinse your brush and dry it, and we're going to go back and kind of just kind of work it in. You don't want to erase the yellow part, the green part, the lighter green part. You just want to soften the intersection. Now is my favorite part because we get to go with the blue. We just want the right side to have the blue. Remember, at any time you can pause and catch up, maybe come back to the zine. We're going to take some of the fuchsia and make our little flowers like we did last time. And go back to the magenta and just dot, dot, oops, dot, 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 dot. So guess what? We're down to our last 2 pages. We sketch it first, and then you're going to add some of the thorns. Great. Now we're going to take some yellow, and all I'm doing is I'm filling in that whole area with the yellow. I'm really not thinking about it. I'm just being free with it. I'm just having fun with it. Now we need to go back to our green. Tap, tap, tap. And we're getting some more water, and we're taking care of that middle transition. Remember, at any time you can pause. I'm gonna take the tiniest little green. Okay. Now everywhere you see one of those spikes, one of these thorns, I want you to put a dot, a green dot. Now we're gonna go to our black, and very gently we're just gonna revisit those thorns. And then we have our magenta flower. We have one petal here, another petal there. I'm just being free with it. I want you to have fun with it. And then I go back and do my little dab, 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 dab. And I'm actually going to go back to my purple, see if I can add just some more dimension to that, like so. So there's your other barrel cactus. Now my favorite. How cute are they? What I do first is I make kind of a heart shape. You see how this is almost like a heart shape? And then I outline where those saguaros will end. And then you want to make sure this one arm is going that way and then this other arm is going this way. You want to add your eyes, a little smile, and then this little guy over here. So we're taking some green, the light green, and we're going to outline first. When we outline, we also help the water stay within the confines of that outline. Don't worry about their eyes because we can find them later. Just you want to fill in the left side of each of the saguaros. And then I'm going to add some of this yellow here to this side. And we're going to figure out the arms in just a little bit. Now we're going back to our green. And remember what I said? Tap, tap, tap. We're going to do that too. So the arms have got to be that same green. And I'm going to pick up some of this color. And then we can start to smooth out some of these areas. Just work it through here too. Just blend, blend, blend. Try and get rid of that. And then I always try to come back to the arms and just give it a little outline. Tiny, tiny little outline. So you have those outlines there. Now I'll probably come back here, grab some more of this green, and just make sure that we are blended. Remember that your zine is your own. So whatever you put in it, it is perfect. And there are no mistakes in art. Remember that. So make it your own. Maybe you don't have watercolors at home. So we can substitute for some colored pencils, or you can use markers. So now all we have to do is go back and trace the eyes again. And all I'm doing is getting some black, very, very fine detail here, very gently. Congratulations! You finished your saguaro zine. I am very happy to have been with you today and to have shared this lesson. Take care, be safe, and be well. Ciao.